A blank canvas reaching beyond the horizon here in the cradle of Africa, in the heart of the hardest desert. There was a country that was quiet and barren 2 years ago. For 40 extended years, it remained inert, unaffected by the passage of time. Following the knowledge passed down from their ancestors, the people thought that the earth had provided all it could. The stakes of the land are quite high, since each time the soil deteriorates, the dreams of the people who live there are also deteriorating. They make their way to the cities, leaving behind whatever relics of their ancestry that they may have. This time, however, things are different. The tides have shifted and natural riches are returning, which is allowing the people who live here to have more opportunities to make a living. This is all due to the work that the villagers and the World Food Program have been undertaking, which entails the use of techniques and processes that I'm going to explain to you in this video. The Senegal River is a ribbon of life that demarcates borders between ecosystems and countries. The aquatic gap in the Mauritania dunes from above provide a striking reminder of the differences found in nature. In this area, the river serves as a sentinel and the Great Green Wall's first line of defense throughout its valiant mission. The Great Green Wall is an African Union initiative that aims to counteract desertification, which is backed by the UN by halting the Sahara Desert's southern spread. The previous 100 years have seen a 10% increase in the Sahara Desert. Then there's the Sahara Desert, followed by the Sahel, the Savannah, and finally the rainforest. A UN World Food Program and a permaculture instructor have teamed together in a creative land recovery initiative in northern Senegal. The community criticized the project procedure and concept when the UN World Food Program arrived at the already deteriorated project site, claiming it was not doable. After 40 years there, they allegedly said they had been unable to unlock the potential of the area. The participatory planning based on the community therefore marked the beginning of the process. It was decided by the time this procedure ended that the land reclamation or recovery project would be one of the primary processes. Thus persuading the individuals, they accepted and dedicated themselves to the cause. Quite literally, they are sowing the seeds of change by rehabilitating ecosystems and collecting water to turn desert soil into productive ground. With the help of the World Food Program, 300,000 hectares have been revitalized. 30 hectares of this area represent a little version of this greater success. Interspersed with forested areas, the Great Green Wall forms a mosaic that protects the Sahel from the savage Sahara. One example of local inventiveness is the circular Tolokour gardens in Senegal, which provide oasis-like conditions in a desert landscape. At the same time, large sections of the Sahel are being rehabilitated by combining the half-moon technique, an old agricultural approach with contemporary technology. The communities involved will determine how well these initiatives turn out. In an effort to create a future free of desertification and abundant life, people throughout the Sahel and Sahara are banding together, exchanging information and devising plans. The circular Tolokour gardens in Senegal are examples of indigenous creativity. They provide oasis-like conditions in a desert landscape while being drought-resistant. At the same time, large sections of the Sahel are being rehabilitated by combining the half-moon technique, an old agricultural approach with contemporary technology. Each half-moon in a specific area has a diameter of 4 meters, and it takes one person to dig one half-moon per day. There are around 7,500 half-moons at this particular location. What exactly is the conceptual framework that underpins the half-moon? So that when it rains and water falls to the ground, it flows into the region that is a little bit lower, so that it holds the water. The half-moon has been set on contour lines. This gives the area the ability to retain the water. To prevent the water from overflowing, an embankment that is slightly elevated was constructed. It remains there and provides nourishment to the plants. Therefore, local species techniques such as the domestication of sorghum and millet, which occurred in this region many thousands of years ago, have been used. Therefore, they are ideal for rehabilitating the land while simultaneously providing food for the communities who live there. As there is no other technology that has been developed in this area, this is not something new. Though it has been lost over time, the half-moon technology is essentially an indigenous technology that is indigenous to the Sahel. At the same time, rainwater was used for the cultivation of sorghum on the land. Approximately 10 to 15% of the water that is captured around the contour will make its way into the earth, where it will be used to replenish the groundwater levels. So it is possible to reach a state of water balancing. Rather, the purpose of this is to ensure that there is sufficient water stored in the earth for the generations who are to come after us. After that, there's this other system that uses planting lines as its key elements. Tomatoes, okra, and other vegetables may be planted within the horticultural beds. Some okra has grown wild in the field, and there are ditches where pigeon pea and moringa were planted. The basic idea is that biomass trenches may be used to provide biomass as the system expands. Pits for growing fruit trees, such as citrus and guava, were located in the spaces between these ditches. This is only the first phase of this pilot. We will also be using more native species to plant in the pits, which will help rejuvenate and preserve the soil as the system begins to expand and provide food and life for the people who live there. When fully developed, this system will look similar to a forest, with forest lines serving to produce biomass and fruit, and other lines serving as horticultural vegetable production centers. This is exactly the way nature works. The positive effects on the environment are obvious. Ecosystems are recovering and the land is teeming with life again. The economic effect is as significant, as the once arid land now produces more food and creates increased employment avenues. Problems persist despite advances. The enormity of the undertaking, the threat of climate change, and the lack of available funds all cast a shadow. We are determined to keep going because of the spirit of teamwork and the practical outcomes we have accomplished so far. In the Great Green Wall Initiative, local communities play a key role. They have priceless insight into the desert and its resources because of their extensive understanding of the area. One example is that in only the last 10 years, locals in Nigeria have planted almost 200 million trees. Not only do these trees prevent the desert from spreading, but they also provide food, fuel, and an incentive for the younger generation to remain. Women are in control in a lot of Sahel villages. In contrast to running nurseries and creating cooperatives, they are making sure that the trees planted now will last for many years. Their empowerment bears witness to the wider societal influence of the initiative. The project is based on education initiatives that educate both young and elderly about biodiversity and sustainable agricultural methods. The curriculum of Burkina Faso schools now includes environmental stewardships, which is helping to raise a new generation of environmentally concerned people. International institutes like the UN and regional NGOs are partnering to increase the effect of grassroots initiatives. Such joint ventures have transformed subsistence farming into sustainable agriculture in Senegal by enabling the construction of microgardens and better irrigation systems. The Great Green Wall is not just about planting trees, it's about planting hope. Standard procedures are being supported by the use of modern technologies. Farmers in Mali track rainfall trends and plan planting times using mobile apps. This blending of custom and technology is enabling communities to adjust to an environment that is always changing. We have observed the way that formerly deserted areas are now brimming with life and optimism. Every effort, from the villages that raise the change seedlings to the half-moons that shelter the rain, adds to a future in which deserts fade and vegetation takes over. The urge to act, as we've seen. The UN's campaign to halt the Sahara Desert is a movement for life, for community, and for the future, not only an environmental one. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. If you've been moved by the stories of revival and rebirth, like, share, and subscribe for more tales of environmental heroism.